Hello, friends. Welcome to this channel, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss about strategies for pharma supply chain digitalization. So, before starting up the thing, let me give you a brief idea about our company and our focus areas. We are focusing on two concepts: Center of Excellence Pharma 4. Dr. Jay Joshi has designed this objective with a passion that cutting edge technologies can help pharma industry to support emerging technologies, digital transformation, and pharma 4. This will to help pharma companies to support three areas like challenges in digital supply chain management, regulatory compliances, and achieve operational and business excellence. Keeping this objective, these goals, company has designed the website respa.com. We have also developed a course, Smart Manufacturing in Pharma, which is available on Udemy platform, has got about 20 modules. So a user can pick and choose the module of his interest and then go on extending it to cover up the entire course. YouTube channel was launched about 5 years back, and this covers 350 videos and has again focus on to business strategies, technologies, transformation, change management, and going up to the validations and audits of the systems. Podcast channel which you are listening now has been designed to focus the challenges which are coming up for the pharma industry and the latest developments into the technologies and how those can be adopted into the pharma industry. Company has also launched a book series onto Amazon. Today, right now, there are 7 books are there, which are available on Kindle and paperback. What I suggest all of you, please have a look at this knowledge content which is available. Share with your colleagues. Do write to us with your feedbacks and suggestions. So let's get it into the topic. What I'm going to discuss over here is about introduction, technology integration, how process optimizations can be developed by building up a end-to-end visibility and agile planning. What are the roles about the leaderships and organizational strategies? Shared vision, ROI metrics, change management. Then about the risk management and sustainability is what we are talking about, the circular supply chain and resilience network, and how we are going to overcome the barriers, and finally coming to the conclusion. So let's start with an introduction. Today, every pharma company is looking out for enhancing the operational efficiency to achieve business excellence. And this is what is going to be available only by integrating the various advanced technologies which are coming up, as I mentioned in my earlier. This will streamline the processes, whether it's a quality process, whether it's a procurement process, whether it's a manufacturing execution process, whether it's a distribution and logistic process, or whether it's a complete end-to-end digital supply chain management process. This needs to be streamlined, this needs to be integrated, and this is where the advanced technologies are being used to achieve the Pharma 4. This has to also support ensuring the regulatory compliances. This will help in adhering to the pharma industry standards, no? Which are, as you know, all GX pigs are coming out, whether good distribution practices, good manufacturing practices, good lab practices, good manufacturing practices. All those are to be there. And that has to come with the robust tracking systems, actually. You should be able to track it out. Now, how it has been happened. With the digital transformation, with adoption of digital technologies, this is going to be possible. Finally, this has to lead to the improving the patient outcome. We should be able to offer the personalized medicines to the patient depending upon his genomic requirement, his uh, diseases, and then how he can use those medicines at a particular time period, and we can keep track about all that to give him the best satisfaction and help him to get a good results from the medicines and all. And this needs to be supported by efficient delivery system, fostering the agility, flexibility, which will support to the market changes. See, demand planning, demand forecasting is the starting thing, and entire system should really support to that. And this will build a resilient systems actually. Now, I have mentioned earlier about the various technologies. Now, how these technologies are going to get integrated? Let's have a look at. uh, So, artificial intelligence and machine learning will help to automate the decision making, which will start from the demand forecasting. As you know, demand depends upon the historical data, changes into market condition, and also your algorithm, you can build it up to predict what is going to be happening based on to the latest data which is really going to available. And that will help to manage the entire inventory management. You will be able to manage your finished goods inventory, your in-process inventory, your raw material and packaging material inventory and all. And that will help based on to the your real-time feasibility and all. And you will be able to reduce those risks, which is really going to happen it based on to the supporting to the market requirements. Digital twin is another technology which is really going to help to simulate your supply chain processes. If you can virtually create what is really going to happen at the shop floor level, at a manufacturing level, you will be able to visualize and then you can able to predict it. So that will help to optimize the your manufacturing resources, mainly the equipments, manpower, your materials, all that, no? And that you will be able to predict and then based on to that data, you will be able to prevent those disruptions, which may be able to give you the better equipment and better utilizations, optimize the resources and all that actually. The third is the technology is basically IoT, there is the Internet of Things and the smart sensors. What we are looking in a digital system is that we want to capture the data directly from the machines, which will be available for the entire supply chain. So it will compare the data with the standards. If there is a deviation or likely to be the deviation, you can give the necessary corrective action. And this data will give you a full proof data for your regulatory requirements. If there won't be any manipulation or there may be not be any mistakes by the human beings and all that, which is what it is more important. At the same time, if, as I was mentioning earlier, monitoring about the temperature sensitive shipments or any raw materials in process or something like that, that will be also available and then that can also pinpoint the necessary corrective actions which can help you to reduce those disruptions and all that. As I mentioned earlier, end-to-end visibility is more important because integrating those silos data, as we were mentioning earlier, it was analog data, it will be also in silos data. It may be into materials, quality, production, distribution, logistic, and all that. Now, over here, when we are talking about the end-to-end connectivity, about the entire digital supply chain management, combining data from R&D manufacturing to distribution will be very helpful, and that gives you the visibility, which helps to reduce the cost or the operational expenses by 4 to 5%, and at the same time improve the planning accuracy, which also directly indirectly helps to improve the performance about the productivity and profitability also. Now comes to that agile planning, flexible planning, as we go on using adopting the predictive analytics to adopt to the market requirement, market shift. It's a demand forecasting. As I was mentioning earlier, when we were into analog system, mainly the demand forecasting was based on to the earlier past data. Now over here, since the market conditions are changing very frequently and all that, a effect of that changes onto your demand is essential. With agile planning, it can really take into the consideration the market changes, and that will give you the impact onto your sales and operation planning. And then that sales and operation planning can get converted into your material requirement planning or purchase planning and all that. So those demand fluctuations can be taken care and all that. Another thing is when we are looking at it for the automated compliances, the technologies or digitization can help in pharmacovigilance, and it will also, that NLP, natural language processing, will meet the evolving regulatory requirements also. So some of those companies which have adopted to this particular thing has seen that their lead time into the process has been reduced by almost 30% from the inventory tracking and all that. Now, this requires a shared vision for the digital transformation. As I mentioned earlier, it is the different technologies and the benefits of the technologies, and mentioned some of those key technologies also. But you need to have a focus, which will have a shared vision for the entire transformations and all. You should have a roadmap which should have taken into consideration the all various stakeholders across the development, manufacturing, logistics, and all that. And that will help you to achieve the expected desired results. So, importance is about the shared vision for going on. At the same time, you should be very clear what is the ROI you are going to expect it, because these projects are not a short-term project; these are a long-term projects. This requires a huge investment onto hardware, software, change management, updating about the data and all that. So you have to draw your ROI, which is going to be expected, and what KPIs you are going to expect. No, you can identify what cost savings will be there, how it will help indirectly to time to the market also. So there will be tangible benefit, intangible benefits and all. And how the smart manufacturing, smart factories can help in energy consumption, energy reductions and all that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the change management is also a critical component for achieving this excellence. So you have to keep in mind that the workforce readiness is there. You have to make a provision for the training programs, and then the investment requires onto the training programs, and finally getting the desired expected returns onto that investment through the people. So we always talk about the holistic approach. It's the people, processes, and the technology. So the technology impact will come. No, as I mentioned in the last thing, only 22% of organizations are now getting an impact. That means still almost 80% have not been able to get the expected desired outputs and all of it. This may be due to various reasons, but you should be able to think about all those possible parameters to take into consideration. And now we are really looking about the circular supply chain to take into consideration the waste management and the recycling processes and all. This has to be with a focus with that net zero target should be there, no minimum or zero waste which can be achieved, and that will help you to bring the brand equity also. So benefits of digital supply chains are there, but basically you will also get a faster response from the patients, even in the demand fluctuation case, but also will help you to improve your supply chain management. Resilient networks are also required. Is basically deploying of the blockchain technologies. You can ensure that traceability is really going to be beneficial. That will build a transparency between the organizations and with along with the customers or the patients and all that. No? So that will be an accountability. And this has been observed very recently during the last COVID period. And there were shortages from the net suppliers, and then the networks which were there were not really been efficiently used, or it requires a lot of improvements and all that. So now you have to adopt to this digital supply chain management to achieve those excellence. So reduce those vulnerabilities into the supply chain management, and you should have the resilience into that. So you have to strengthen the network and its reliability also. So this is what is the most important thing where we want to focus on to the technology. So our focus area is how those technologies can really help you into the pharma supply chains and all. Now, what are those other barriers are there? Other barriers are there like cybersecurity. When you are looking at it for integrating everything, the data is available with all required stakeholders, the data volume is increasing. We have to adopt to the big data and all that. We have to move to the entire thing onto the cloud architecture. So implementing the data encryption and everything, especially the sensitive data about the clinical trials, about the product formulas, recipes, suppliers, manufacturing processes, distribution, logistic and all that. So this is becoming a very important thing. So you should have a strong, secured cybersecurity system should be implemented and all. Another thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, is the legacy system which have to be phased out. No, because those earlier system were analog system and those ERPs are becoming obsolete. They are going to be outdated. So we have to really move fast to adoption of these new technologies with the digital transformation. At the same time, collaborations are going to be more important because now there are a lot of technology service providers are there. Like we talked about the various technologies like cloud, AI, IoT, blockchain, robotics, chatbot. So these are the various technologies. So you will find the different teams having expertise onto one or two areas or one or two technologies and all that. At the same time, you also need a support from the academia also. The academia support is required because the regulatory requirement, business concept, those things are also changing. So you need to collaborate with your along with your team, you need to collaborate with the consultant, technology service providers, implementers, and academic teams and all that. So that is these are the things that are challenging are there. So I think I gave you a brief idea about those things. Let me conclude over here is that this your investment is required, which has to be artificial intelligence driven visibility, which helps you to enhance operational transparency, facilitates the data driven decision making. I always use this terminology that now we have to really build up that culture, the culture of innovation. Innovation is based on to your the data driven decision making. That's what is the focus area. Adoption of agile processes, increasing the flexibility and responsiveness, quick adoption to the changes, that has to be more important because you are going to support the market requirement and the patient's expectations and all that. You have to have a sustainable practices for the environment also, and you should have a strategic leadership which will guide the entire team for the digital transformation, and it has to be a continuous process. So maybe you'll start seeing the results, but the entire results will come maybe in a long term basis, maybe 3 years or 5 years down the line and on that. So various these topics are already discussed at our other social platforms and all that, either Udemy or YouTube or in the books and all that. Do refer to them, share your comments, share your feedback, share with your network also. Thank you. Bye.